Welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are having a great day. Before we get into today's video, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so that you never miss out on an upload, and leave a comment below saying I subscribed and hello, and I'll always say hi back. With all of that said and done, let's jump into the video.
It's time to do.
What's going on, guys? We are here with our resident One Piece Nami expert, Dareth, who has a bit of a passion for this deck, and I'm just going to hand it straight over to him so he can talk around about his love of the deck, and yeah, we'll go from there.
Cool. Yeah, g'day, I'm Dareth. I play Nami. Fun Nami, yeah.
And why do you like Nami the most?
Well, she's different from any other deck in the game at the moment. She kills herself instead of killing the others, and I like the fact that you get to play yourself instead of with the others.
Yeah, you're in control of your own destiny.
Yep.
Awesome. All right, let's see what you've got. I have to say, I love the Nami artwork in front of me here. It is just gorgeous.
I think it's beautiful, yeah. So, Nami's leader ability is trash. If you get to the bottom of your deck, you win. Nice and simple, easy as that. So, I'll jump into the cards. First cards I've gotten for Kaya. Kaya is pretty self-explanatory. She draws 2, trashes 2. She's effective at getting through the deck and also recycling cards if I need to change the hand around. She has a 2k counter if I need to in sticky situations, and she's just solid.
Yeah, I think she's mandatory at 4.
Absolutely. Yeah. One that's maybe a little less common is Apis. Apis is a 1 cost, 0 attack, just like Kaya. She has a 2k counter, just like Kaya. But with Apis, you have to trash 2 cards and then from your hand, and then you get to draw 1 East Blue card. I only really ever use her if I'm in a sticky situation with my hand, if I need something else in my hand, like a draw card, which is Sanji's Pilaf, which I'll get to later. Otherwise, she's just a trash fodder for other cards that I use. And yeah, she's just solid, and I find that I've won quite a few games with her.
Awesome.
Whenever she's needed.
Cool.
Next I've got is Buggy. So Buggy I only run 3 of. I find that I don't need a 4th one. There's only a few Impel Down type cards, and a lot of the time I'm only either using it for fodder or for getting the expensive counter.
Okay.
1k counter, so he's good for those 5k attack scenarios where I have him in hand and don't really need him at the time.
Yeah.
Otherwise, yeah, he's good for fodder as well. He's
awesome.
just, yeah. He gets to cycle through the deck, same with Apis. I think they're the only 2 cards that actually cycle the deck fully in terms of characters.
Yeah.
Next I have Daz Bones, Mr. 1. He's needed in the deck, completely, absolutely necessary. He pulls your events back, your 1 cost events back from the trash, and 9 times out of 10, if you don't do that, then you lose the game.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
He has the 1k counter if necessary.
Yep. Good for recursion then, most definitely.
Yeah, absolutely,
yep.
yeah. I need those events back out if I want to have any chance of recycling and winning.
Awesome.
And it's just the 1 costs, which are at the bottom of the deck, which I'll get into later on.
Cool.
So those are all the characters.
Yep.
Those are the only characters I run. I don't play any of the Zeph. So
Yep.
the Zeph is a 5k, 6 or 5 cost 6k attacker. He's very good, but I just find that he's not worth running in the deck that I play.
Yep.
I think that he's just too expensive to get out on the field, and with the meta at the moment, he just disappears way too fast.
That's fair enough. With your characters, were there any changes that you want to make? I know that before we started the video, you were talking about some ratios.
Yeah, so
what would that look like?
So if I was going to add any characters, it would just be 1 Buggy.
Yep.
I think Buggy would be the only character I would change.
Okay.
At the moment, there's not really any other characters that I see that in the current list of blue cards that really benefit working in this blue deck.
Cool.
Other than, of course, maybe Zeph or Belmia, but they're expensive cards, and I don't really find the need of playing expensive cards.
Cool.
I'd rather get my counters out and do that than attack myself.
Awesome.
So that's all for the characters. The next one I've got is for Pilaf. It is a 3 cost, simple, draw 2 cards.
Yeah.
It can fill up my hand, which is necessary. It's also got a trigger. The trigger is activate cards main effect. I can draw 2 cards from life, so I use it as trigger, draw 2 cards. I have an extra 2 cards in hand, which can completely change the way the attackers attack me or I defend.
Yeah, it changes the game state completely.
Yep.
Yep. Awesome. That's definitely a mandatory 4 of
absolutely. 4 of, no doubt. The next one is Brick Fist. I'm only running 3 at the moment. It's one of the cards that I have been labbing with quite a bit, trying to figure out if I should play more, play less. Just trying to figure out if it's worth having in the deck or not. It's really good for basically what it does is throws cards back from field into hand, either person's field, 1 character, 4 cost. Nice and easy. I use it a lot to shuffle back the Kaya.
Oh, yeah.
That's Daz.
Yeah.
The Kaya's super good for shuffling back. Just cycles hand, which is really important for the deck. Nice and easy.
Yep.
Right, so the next card I play is almost purely for fodder, otherwise trigger, which is the Impel Down All-Stars. What this card does is trash 2 cards from your hand, and then the other part doesn't really matter. It's if your leader is Impel Down, then you draw 2, which mine's not, of course, which is fine. It's mainly used for fodder, otherwise the trigger is draw 2 cards, which is super important for this deck. Just getting cards in hand is amazing. Otherwise, yeah, I use it for fodder, and it can also be really good for scenarios where I have too many cards in hand and want to trash a few cards.
Yeah, okay. Cool.
Otherwise, yeah, nice and simple card.
Yep.
Next card I have is Deathwing. It is the most expensive of my counters that I have. It's a 3-cost counter with a 6k counter. If I have no cards in my hand, I draw up to 2.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, so
Yep.
it's really good for those last-ditch effort scenarios where I've just run out of cards in hand, it's there, I need it for 6k, play it, draw 2 cards. If I still have Don up and have counters in my hand from the draw,
Keep
it
yourself
does
in the game.
exactly what I need. Yep. The other really good thing about this card is it bounces back a 7-cost character or less to the person's hand.
Yeah,
So
okay.
if they have let's say you're playing yellow, they have a Big Mom out, 7-cost Big Mom, bounce back to
Get
hand.
rid of it.
Yep,
Yep.
absolutely. Yep. It's super important for keeping the balance of the game for your character.
Yeah.
Just trying to stay alive as long as possible until you deck out. Otherwise, yeah, just a really good counter and good for fodder if you need to as well.
Yeah, most definitely. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a great early game fodder because obviously you don't have 10 on at the start of the game,
Yeah,
so you
yeah.
don't have to worry about it so much. This card I have been experimenting with whether it's worth or not playing. There's one of the cards that I would change out with Arabesque.
Yep.
It's a 4k counter, costs 2, it returns 1 active character back to the owner's hand.
Yeah, okay.
So it can be really good in scenarios where you're playing against a person and you've run out of Don, you play it, if you only have 2 Don left, you play it, pull back like a Kaya or something, which has the 2k counter, and then you can use the 2k counter on your Kaya or your Apis as necessary, if need be. Otherwise, just returning a 3-cost is really good.
Most definitely.
Yeah, it can stop Kiro's pushes in Black Rebecca.
Yeah.
Yeah, super good.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, the trigger's also really good. It's actually a cost of 4 or less instead of a 3 or less.
Okay.
And it just, it can change the state of the game.
Yeah.
Because if they're attacking with like a 3-cost early, bounce back a 4-cost. Even if they attack with a more expensive card, you can bounce back one of their cheaper cards and then they get 1 less attack for the turn.
Yep.
I also use it quite a bit as fodder for some of the other cards.
Yep. I think all of these cards need to be eligible to be used as fodder at some point. You know, the whole point of
They
milling.
can be, yeah. It's only when completely necessary, and there are some cards that just can't be.
Yeah.
The next one is Love Love Mallow, or Love Love Beam. What this card does is it's a 2-cost, 4k counter. If your leader gains plus 4,000, and if you have 3 or less cards in your hand, you draw 1 card.
Yeah, okay.
So it is amazing for cycling cards from deck into hand. It's super important for just any stage of the game, whether you have lots of cards or not. You can use it as fodder if you really need. Otherwise, it's just a really solid card. No counter on it, unfortunately. I think it would be way too strong if it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's super important, and you need it if you want to follow through.
Awesome.
Next card we have is Gum Gum Giant Gabble. It is a 1-cost 4k counter, which is insane.
That's massive.
What you have to do though is you have to trash 1 card from your hand to be able to use it, and it only works on your leader. Your characters can't use this card.
Oh,
Yep,
okay.
so it's only for your leader.
Yep.
When you use it though, you can actually trash 2 cards from your deck.
Oh,
So you play it, it's 1 cost, trash 1 card from your hand, 4k counter, and trash 2 cards from deck.
That's
It
perfect.
is the most pivotal counter in the game
Yeah.
for how good it is. It's so strong. It's one of the cards that you always want back in your hand when you're playing Nami, using Des Bones to get it back. It's just, it's a really strong card.
it's massive.
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It also has a trigger, which is return 1 character with a cost of 4 or less to the owner's hand, just like the Overheat.
Yep.
It does exactly what it needs to do when you need to do it, and because it's a 1 cost, you can get it back easy enough
Yeah.
if you do use it as trigger from life.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Next card we have is Usopp's Rubber Band of Doom. There's 4 of these, of course, they're completely necessary in the deck. Another necessary card. 1 cost, 2k counter, trash 1 card from deck. It's super good for early game, just getting the deck lower, and it's good for fodder as well, just because it's 1 cost, you can get it back if you really need to, and
Yeah.
it's just good for the cheaper attacks. It also has a trigger. You may draw 1 card and trash 1 card from deck. So you basically get 2 cards out of deck for free
Yeah.
with the trigger. It's just a really good card, I think.
That's awesome.
And last but not least, I have the other deck cycling card, which is just, I think, an absolute must.
Yeah.
4 Desert Sparters, basically. 1 cost, 2k counter. Look at top 3 cards of your deck, any order, top or bottom. It is insanely good for rotating cards in and out of deck if need be, and you get to basically decide how your game's going to play out
Yeah.
super early.
Really good
Yeah.
control card for.
Yeah, absolutely. Gives
game
me
state.
control of the game
Yeah, that's
at
awesome.
any point,
Yeah.
whenever I use it.
Very cool. So, any other changes? I know we talked about our characters and what you were thinking about changing there, but for the whole deck, would there be anything you're sort of? I know you talked about you were labbing some stuff earlier, but was there anything else you wanted to mention?
Personally, I think this deck is probably as optimal as it could get for
Yep.
what I'm going for. It does have a very high skill ceiling, in my opinion, probably the highest in the current state of the game. Just having to control everything on board at all times and knowing exactly how much Don you need to use and everything like that. Solid, just a solid deck, I think.
Awesome.
Mainly just the arabesques, and I'm experimenting with more or less arabesques and the buggies because I do have those impel down type cards.
Yeah.
But otherwise, yeah, it's
You're pretty happy?
yeah.
Awesome. All right, well, thank you very much, Dareth. Is there any shout outs you'd like to give?
No, I'm not good.
Cool, awesome. Thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you.
Cheers.